Okay. Kayla got the 111, the 411. Sipping lemonade, throwing light shade. Okay.
Everyone, it is Kayla got the 411. I'm back for another What's Good episode. I am here with Luke Collins. Collins, how are you doing? We were having a little discussion, everyone, about the pandemic. He's on the West Coast. I've been getting a lot of West Coast artists. I'm so happy about that.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm doing well out here. Enjoying, I think, the last bit of kind of summer fall crossover. So it's been nice.
I love fall. It's my favorite time of the year. So I actually am very intrigued about actually getting to know you because you have an interesting background. This is actually your first debut singing song as an artist. So when I listened to your song and Liam from your PR agency, they was like, this is your debut singing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. But you actually started off playing viola. So how did you make that big song?
Yeah, it definitely took a while. I started playing violin when I was really young, and I switched to viola to play in college. So yeah, I'd kind of been like an orchestra kid most of my life, and yeah, I knew kind of that a profession in viola was something that was going to be difficult. I didn't love the instrument enough. I really loved music. It instilled that kind of passion in me. And it's still something that I play almost daily, but yeah, it just wasn't being a professional violist, kind of going into sessions and doing that type of thing. I wasn't good enough. Well, I didn't practice enough. And I just kind of knew that I kind of wanted to be a little bit more expressive than I could be on that instrument. And I kind of found that in the voice and in guitar. And it took a while. I moved in and lived in San Francisco after studying viola in college, and kind of just took a completely different job outside of music, and just kind of like watched my friends kind of blossom in the pop scene and in some of the more kind of popular current music genres. And I was like, wait, that actually looks really fun, and we can kind of go in and make something fun out of this.
Right. And that leads to my next question. Like, how old were you when you realized music was a passion for you?
Yeah, definitely super, super young when I realized, music was a passion. I joke often that, if you were to ask my mom, when it was that passion first instilled in me, she'd probably pull up a picture of me forcing everybody in my family to sit down as I staged a concert at like 3 years old. And so it's always been a huge passion of mine, but it wasn't really until just a couple years ago that I kind of thought I can really make a career out of this and kind of carve out a little piece of the industry for myself.
So you went to college to study viola,
yeah,
but you made a big transition to the corporate world.
Yeah.
How was I currently work corporate, and I'm gonna be honest with you, Luke, I hate it, but I'm really good at it. But sometimes you just have to do what you have to do while you're actually focused on your other thing. So how was it when you was actually? Are you still working in corporate?
I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm coming up on about a year of being kind of fully working as a musician.
Congratulations. So how was it? Were you miserable?
It wasn't constant misery, but there was certainly, it came in waves. I really appreciated, I think what I was looking for in that transition, that's exactly what it was. It was a transitory period, right? That, we all go through those types of periods in our life. And I was kind of just looking for stability. I couldn't quite see what the future would look like with music. And so the idea of having a job that kind of had a career path that was mapped out, that I kind of knew, how much I would be making if I were able to keep that job, and what the promotion schedule looked like was, really comforting in that kind of time of uncertainty. And so that's really what, made me gravitate towards that, I think, at that period in my life. And it really took, I think, being comfortable in that to realize that, like, I don't actually like this at all. I just kind of liked the idea of stability. And so, it was funny enough that I was happy enough in that job to kind of realize that I didn't like it at all. And that that I wanted to go on and do something different.
there's a little perks to it. I always tell people it teaches you
Oh yeah.
how to handle people professionally. Any setting when you're in corporate, you can be out at a concert. It just teaches you how to interact with people. So I do think it is a plus to it. So there's a lot of creatives that are currently still working, of course, because you have to
Totally.
live. You
Yeah.
have to bills, you have to eat. So I think a lot of people can definitely relate, and that's brave of you to actually take that jump and just go dive into music as well.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah.
So we're gonna take a little moment. We're gonna get to know you. So we're gonna pretty much pick either or. So I'm gonna give you two options, and you're gonna choose.
Okay.
So, do you sing in the shower? If so, what songs?
I am more of a car singer, I would say.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have roommates still, and for somebody that like makes a profession out of singing, I get weirdly self-conscious, at least when I'm singing in places where I'm not supposed to be singing, you know? And so for me, yeah, just kind of belting out something in the shower, I'm much more comfortable, in my car, kind of closed off in my own space. I love singing. I'm really just obsessed with like a lot of female pop. So I'll sing like a Sigrid song, I'll sing like a Tovolo song. That's just like way too high for me, but it's just like it sounds terrible, but it's fun.
Everybody sounds good in the shower, in the car. I tell everyone when I'm driving, I have the music on, someone's looking at me. Just let me enjoy. Let me enjoy my song.
Well, it's funny that I say that, I prefer the car because I like my privacy. I drive a Jeep Wrangler, like an old Jeep Wrangler, and so half of the year there's not even a roof on it, and so literally everybody around me can just singing. But there's something about like the anonymity. It's like they don't know me. I can just kind of scoot off.
Yeah, I would think that's common over there in the West Coast. Probably everybody's just got the top down, just cruising, listening to their music. Yeah. Next, horror movies or comedy movies?
Definitely more of a comedy person. Yeah, I find that even if I'm watching horror movies, my scared response is just to laugh. I don't know why, but I'll be that person like in a slasher movie that like they finally get them, and I'm just like chuckling because that's my like nervous response.
That's the same thing too. I always laugh. Oh my gosh, I'm the type of person too. Like when I laugh, I make a lot of jokes when I'm nervous. It's ridiculous. Now that I'm caught on to it, I don't really trip up on it anymore. Next, who is the person in your life that you would include in your acceptance speech? When you win a Grammy, I like to talk as if it's going to happen. Who will you include in your acceptance speech and why?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, there's so many people, right? You start to realize how difficult of a task that is. I mean, I do think it really has to start with parents. They've been so kind of encouraging of me my entire life. My dad one time jokingly quipped that his retirement gig was going to be driving my tour bus. And so, yeah. And so, yeah, that kind of constant encouragement throughout life obviously is 100% why I've gotten this far, and will definitely be why I get, to the next steps. 100%.
Yeah. Now, Luke, when you win your Grammy one day, make sure they include
and Kayla got the 411, obviously.
Yeah,
first
big old manifestation.
First taped interview, actually.
Really? Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I'm normally everybody's first. This place is really for up and coming artists. It's always we see the same interviews from Beyonce and Adele, Drake. Like, let's get to know the up and comers. So that's why I created this segment. And last, what inspires you in life?
Oh wow. That definitely changes. I think, with the season, with where I'm at in life. I never thought I would be somebody that kind of says this, but I do think I'm really inspired by nature and really kind of like the grandness of nature. I really like, a lot of my music, the single that's out and how I like to perform is just kind of like capturing a big emotions, right? Like big feelings of love, big feelings of sorrow. And I'm really just inspired by like kind of mountain scenes, or like I love flying in planes because I can just like see the vastness of you know, especially kind of the West where there's just so much spread out kind of, and then you just see this like beautiful mountain like shooting up out of the desert. That kind of just like bigness is something I really try and capture in music as much as I can.
Wow, a beautiful. I think you had the best explanation I've ever had on this show. Oh my God. So pretty much speaking of your latest debut single, Tell You, like what was the inspiration behind that and your entire mindset when you created it?
Yeah, Tell You, it's funny that it's the first song to come out because it was actually also the first kind of like pop song that I worked on like in a really kind of professional context. And so yeah, we were driven kind of by the chords that we were working with, the sound textures that we were working with was kind of like the big inspiration. We kind of played those, that it was like a Prophet synthesizer patch that we were playing, and we're like just kind of taken by that sound and that vibe, and it kind of made me Tell You isn't really based on like a specific story or anything like that, but it's definitely just about kind of this feeling of meeting somebody that makes you just a little bit tongue-tied. You know, I'm a talkative person, I'm a communicative person, and but I will definitely find myself either, you know, romantically or just like a cool person. I'll be taken aback a little bit. I'll kind of like be at a little bit of a loss for words. And so that was just kind of my fun little flip on just kind of like, yeah, well, maybe sometimes I just don't need to. I'll get a little tongue-tied and that's okay, because we're still just having.
I love that. So what has been the response from your peers and people who have so far listened to the single? Because I definitely love it. Liam, he was like, you're gonna love it. And I love pop. Everybody knows I love pop music. I wanted to be Britney Spears. I thought I was gonna be Britney Spears when I was a kid.
Well, yeah, given everything we now know, it was tough being Britney. But
it really was. Like as a kid, oh my gosh, she's living the life. But yeah, it makes sense now. Well, a lot of these artists do go through alone by themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and exactly kind of on that note, it's been so nice, and the reception has been just, yeah, it feels like a fun little family. Like so many people helped me make this, and so it feels so nice to just give it to them, you know. You know, Jackie, who helped me co-write it, Ben, who helped me produce it, John, who helped me produce it again or more and mix it. And, you know, there was just such a big team, you know, almost just on the song side. And then, you know, my friends helping with photography and with styling and just with kind of like general consultation on, you know, the direction of the project. So just with the people that have kind of stepped up and said, hey, I want a piece of this or to be a part of this, it's been so lovely just like being able to give it to them first and foremost. But then beyond that, it's been really nice. It's a first release, so it's just like my first tiny little baby step out into the world. And but it feels like we're laying a really fun foundation, and, you know, really looking forward to build upon, you know, what we've started here.
That's amazing. Everyone needs their team, especially in this industry when things get hard. So having a support system around you, that is truly a blessing. And I'm pretty sure they feel about you with trusting them to be able to help you. This is your baby. This is pretty much your baby. This is your first debut single. So it's like your newborn.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty way about you. So what is next for Luke? Do you plan on putting out a full project soon?
Yeah, so we're building towards that. My goal is to get 2 more singles out, you know, as close to the end of the year as possible, but that's like barreling towards us at lightning speed. So, you know, within, you know, by January 2022 to have kind of 3 singles up, rolling with those. They're all a very fun vibe, similar to Tell You, and some video content to support that, and then really start playing shows as heavily as possible around California and hopefully, you know, around the country. But yeah, just releasing more music, you know, about every six weeks, and then just going to kind of promote that and see it. We have a back catalog of, you know, another half dozen songs that we'll definitely be playing live and kind of see what the reception is and when we want to maybe release those. That's
amazing. Well, Luke, I'm so happy for you, especially with this being your debut. I don't know. I I love hearing artists with their debut. It's a little nervousness,
Totally.
excitement as well. It's such an accomplishment. And I want to say thank you so much for being on my show and having to be your first recording as well. How was that? Very easy.
Oh, it's so fun. Yeah. No, such a blast.
You're just so smart and so chill, independent. I think I'd be friends with your parents.
Yeah, you know, funny to like just hear yourself talk about your own stuff, right? I'm definitely used to being the guy that's like, oh, what do you think? You know, but so it's an interesting thing, but certainly so fun, and exactly kind of like you said, it's exciting for a lot of firsts, like even this, right? It's exciting to kind of have like almost like just like notch it in your belt, right? But then you're like, oh, let's do that again. Let's do it some more. We're just
it kind of story too. So that's why I like to make it more, personal here. And sometimes it depends on some guests. I like to get into their personal business because sometimes they may be nervous or just to be an icebreaker. But I want to make all you artists feel comfortable and just talk about your music. When someone's talking about their music, it's like, oh my gosh, it's your passion. So of course you're gonna love talking. So thank you so much.
Really quick, do you play music, or is the kind of like journalism interviewer aspect more always been your scene?
Well, funny story is I moved to Atlanta right after high school in 2010 to be a songwriter. I had everything. I had artists, but something I learned how messed up this industry could be. Where this particular gentleman, when it was time for me to sell these songs, he owned the rights to the songs. And he would not get them over to me. I guess, he liked me and I didn't realize it. So that actually was the first step where I actually learned, okay, wow, this industry is very cutthroat. There's some real people here. So since I love music so much and I love to talk, this is my way of like incorporating it and giving artists a chance to get their music and platform out there.
Totally. Yeah, no, I think something that we didn't get a chance to touch on was like what's the one thing you would change in the music industry? And as I've looked at it more closely, I think it is so just from the bottom up, the lack of female representation in a writer's room is ridiculous. I like the stats been thrown around, late, and it keeps being reaffirmed in study after study that of, the Billboard 100 top 100 songs given year, of all the writers credited, only about 12% are female. Which is just crazy when you think about it. And when that's on writing, and then when you break that down to the producer level, only 2% of the producers credited on the top 100 songs in a given year are women, and that's been a stat that's been held up since 2011.
Oh my gosh! Like that's like it makes me like, oh my gosh, because I feel like once I get this set and stuff like that, I definitely want to help artists with their music. Pop and R&B is more my thing. I'm not gonna write a rap, you guys, but I'm pretty sure I could. But that's sad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No, there's a lot. If you the Annenberg School of Media at USC, Southern California, does an annual study on it. And it's just kind of year after year, they're like, still hasn't changed, still been hovering around 12%. And since 2011. Yeah.
And I really kind of push for artists to kind of write your own music sometimes, just to know how you're feeling. Sometimes you get stuck, the writer's block, and I talk to a lot of people on this show during the pandemic. A lot of people on the show said they just didn't have any inspiration to write music. I mean, you're sitting in the house, you can't go out with friends. But wow, that's sad. I'm gonna look into that after that. That's really sad.
Yeah, I can email you the link to the study, and there's some other info. But there's a lot of people working to combat it. There's an organization called She Is the Music that kind of directly looked at those stats and said, well, what can we do about this? And they're working a lot on building peer networks, right? That there are women in those rooms, and they can bring more women in, right? And really just kind of giving a voice to that, raising a lot of awareness that like, hey, your writer's room, look around, and if every single person in the room looks like you, or if every single person in the room is a man, and you're writing a song about women that is going to set the cultural narrative about women for the year, maybe you're not doing the best you can.
Exactly. Even these Grammys, I heard that, they've been having the same people, nominating each year. Like, let's get women in there. Let's get different races and different age groups in there. It's time to change things up. So I'm hoping, especially with this show,
yeah,
I can change and open the doors for myself and all you artists out there as well.
Well, I really appreciate it. And I love your earrings. That's great. We're doing a lot of orange for Tell You. And for
I love colorful, and I know it's fall, but look, I cannot let go of spring and summer. I'm holding on to
orange counts for fall.
Mm-hmm. Hey, yeah. And plus, I'm in the house. Plus, I'm in Georgia, so it's chilly in the mornings, but normally it's probably like 78 degrees now. So I get a pass.
There we go.
So I'm so glad you had yourself to enjoy this show. So I'm always here to support. I tell you all, when you have things going on, I'm here to support. And I have a playlist on Spotify and Apple, which I need to update with all of you artists' music so that I can
amazing.
So everybody that's on this show, I add 2 songs on there so people can listen to all of you all.
Amazing. Hey, I appreciate that.
Just want to say thank you so much for watching the show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, share, and of course hit that subscription button. I am grateful for every view, whether you like me or you don't. And don't forget, I got a podcast too. There are exclusive episodes on that podcast, so don't forget to go check that out as well. They're on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pandora. Baby, I'm everywhere, okay? And follow me on social media. I'm Kayla Got the 411 on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr. Baby, like I said, I'm everywhere. Thank you again for watching the show, and I'll see you on the next episode of Kayla Got the 411.